This guy that I'm now seeing turned out to be a little crazier than I originally anticipated. He didn't take it very lightly when I stopped drinking and stopped doing drugs, let alone tried to leave him. I was seeing a counselor at that time. They had a pretty good idea as to what was going on. You know, I'd go in with black eyes all the time, and this is what domestic violence looks like.
Life can sometimes be difficult. However, Mary-Anne Bowcott, AKA the Lady Plumber, emerged from her life's adversities to become a mentor for women. I'm Craig Morgan, and you're watching American Plumber Stories.
Some days I'm working before the sun kisses the sky. I watch the world wake up from the seat of my truck. I'm out here earning my piece of the pie. A good honest buck, no it ain't love. I was taught to do the things I do so I don't depend on anyone. I work hard enough through the year so I play whenever I want. I have more than I deserve, including a wife who says I'm hot. Yeah, it's better than a good life that I got.
I'm Mary-Anne Bowcott. I'm from Sooke, British Columbia, and I am the owner of Westcom Plumbing Gas. So now I have 2 employees, both female, both wonderful. I have 2 vans on the road. As for right now, I'm quite content. Sooke is a small town. Everybody knows everybody, and when I first moved here, I was 8. And it was a little hard to get accepted here because I wasn't really from here. Going into a school where nobody knows you, you look different because you're not white, fully white, you know. People don't really know what you are. And yeah, so it was a bit of a transition for sure, but eventually, you know, people came around. But I did get bullied pretty heavily in school. I think it had a lot to do with just the fact that I was kinda weird, a little awkward, I don't know. Maybe looked funny, or I wasn't one of the pretty girls in school. I didn't wear makeup like some of the other ones did, and I didn't wear the hoochie clothes, you know. I always had hand-me-downs. You know, our family was pretty poor, like we didn't have anything like that. If I went to work, basically, that's when I could get my own clothes. So I quit school. It was never about the grades. It was just strictly 100% the bullying. I couldn't handle it anymore.
You can't steer her in any direction. Just knows what she wants to do and she goes for it.
I got a job and I dropped out of school.
She's gonna be okay. She's gonna be okay.
I started hanging out downtown Victoria. Definitely felt accepted for the first time. There was this cool crowd that was now considering me one of their friends. I started wearing a little bit of makeup. Had been working now, so I had a little bit of better clothes than I was wearing before. And for the first time in my life, somebody had called me pretty. It was a pretty great time. Though it was short-lived. The partying just got out of hand. I started doing drugs because that's what everybody else was doing. It got out of control. It got out of control. I was trying to be accepted into the crowd, and you just start doing what everybody else is doing. I was living with my boyfriend. I think the abuse started verbally. I think that it was gradual, but then the verbal turned physical. I remember waking up in the hospital once and I had zero recollection of what happened. And I wanted to go to the convenience store by myself, but I wasn't allowed to. I wasn't allowed out of his sight, ever. I could barely go to the bathroom by myself, you know, because he thought that and I probably would have, that I was gonna leave. He was probably right, you know? So I remember, I was like, I'm leaving. Grabbed my purse, I start heading towards the door, and he runs at me and grabs me by my ponytail and throws me onto the ground, and then just drags me across the floor, and then locks me in the bedroom. Well, in the bedroom, there was an electrical cord. I tried to take my own life. I thought that he was doing his own thing for enough time. He walked in, and that's when he beat the living piss out of me. And then that's when I woke up in the hospital. And I know that people say, like, why didn't you just leave? Well, when the person's threatening your family's life, how do you leave? They're threatening to kill your little sister, like your baby sister, burn your dad's house down while he's in it. How do you leave? What if that did happen? I would never be able to live with myself. I woke up after 3 days of not sleeping or eating, and my face was sunken in, and I looked in the mirror and I had bruises on my face, and I was like, it's gotta stop. I've had enough. So I quit drinking, I quit doing drugs, and I finally left him.
Good grief, how many days have I been in this room? How many pages have I gone through? 'Cause I'm on my third pen trying to make it make sense.
So now I'm at this pizza place, and I know that it's not a forever job. I did know somebody that worked as a roofer for his uncle. So I asked him, would you hire me as a laborer? And he said, absolutely. Do you want to start on Monday? I said, absolutely. They put me on a crew with 10 flat roofers on a shingle job. I think they just came up with this job just to put me somewhere.
My name is Dale Stevens. I am a commercial roofer. We were working together on the same crew, and she was going through a tough time. So I decided, hey, I'll give her a hand.
And so we did the job together, and I asked him out on a date. When I started with Alpha, that's when I started in commercial. And I realized that I don't like commercial. I think it was a total of 4 or 5 years. So I got bored.
My friend owned a plumbing company. I was like, well, you should call, see if he can give you a job.
Mary-Anne showed up at my office for the interview, looking to start in the plumbing apprenticeship. And I could just see with our conversation how confident she was. She just had a great attitude. So in that interview, I offered her to start an apprenticeship with me.
Bury the hatchet, bouquet on the casket. I'm making peace with how it had to happen. Bury the hatchet, bouquet on the casket. I'll let the wind take the ashes.
I couldn't have asked for somebody better to work under. He is what a good plumber should be and what kind of work you should be doing, but at the same time with speed.
Mary-Anne was always the first one on the job site and the last one to leave. And she made people around her work harder.
You know, oh, you can't do that. You're just a little girl or whatever, or a little woman. Oh yeah, watch me, right?
Well, Mary-Anne tries to excel in everything she does. I'm very, very proud of her.
For me as a company was my very first female apprentice that I hired.
I worked for him for a number of years. I think it was about 5 or 6 years. And I had hurt my back and I was off work for a few months. Thought long and hard about it, and Dale and I had a conversation. And he said, why don't you just try doing your own thing and you can pick and choose your jobs. We decided at that point that I would start my own company. I never really looked back after that. I would not be anywhere near where I am today if I didn't have plumbing in my life.
Because of Mary-Anne, I've had 3 female finish their 4 years apprenticeship and become journey person. She's my competitor, but we're colleagues, but I'm just proud to call her my friend.
I've never been happier than what I am right now. And it just keeps getting better.
Where she came from and where she's gotten to in her career is like phenomenal. It's a phenomenal story, really. Like she's a badass.
She changed how I thought about women in the trade. I've always had a female on staff since Mary-Anne.
I've seen a huge influx of women in the trades since hanging around with Mary-Anne, and I think it's great. I think that some of them are better workers than guys, for sure. You know what I mean? Like, I think that Mary-Anne could outwork a lot of guys, hands down.
I'm hoping that my story can show that even though you may have had a bit of a dark past and maybe have been in that rock bottom spot, don't give up, because there are options, even though you may not think there are any at the time. If I was to have a conversation with the 16-year-old me, I would tell her that you are stronger than you think. There is always a light at the end of the tunnel, and you will get there. You will be happy. My name's Mary-Anne Bowcott, and I'm a Canadian plumber.